Tonight on KGW News, the fireball caught on camera streaking across the northwest sky.
That particular meteor probably was about the size of a basketball.
Plus,
Stop.
what air traffic control chatter reveals about a deadly runway collision between a jet and a fire truck as survivors begin to share their stories.
It was just a very loud boom, and everybody just jolted out of their seats.
Then we're checking in at PDX as the president deploys ICE agents elsewhere to clear up those long security lines.
Yeah, I wasn't thrilled about that.
I think that's fine in busy times when people are struggling.
And later, a heartfelt homecoming for Portland's veteran ski racer and first-time Olympic medalist.
I felt the love from everyone during the Olympics, so it's really cool to have the warm welcome as I came into PDX.
Good evening. At first at 11, the Supreme Court heard a case today that could change the way we vote in both Oregon and Washington. We're glad you're with us tonight. I'm David Mulco. The case, which pits Republicans against a red state, involves mail-in ballots that arrive after Election Day. Alma McCarty has a look at what the decision could mean for our elections. Alma?
Yeah, David, this case has to do with a challenge to a Mississippi mail-in ballot law, which allows ballots postmarked by Election Day to be received within 5 business days after the election. Should the law be overturned, voters in more than a dozen states, including our own, could be affected.
A long-standing practice in Washington state could be upended by the Supreme Court in Washington, D.C.
Washington has used the ballot postmark for a long time.
Greg Kimsey has been the Clark County auditor since 1999 and calls the current system the right one.
We have people who are properly registered to vote. They're voting the ballot that they were entitled to vote. And then they're returning it to the elections office. Why would we not want to count the ballots of those people?
But that's what could happen should the conservative majority overturn a Mississippi law that allows ballots to be counted as long as they're postmarked by Election Day. Kimsey says in Clark County alone, thousands could end up with their votes not counting because they didn't understand the rules.
In 24, we received 9,547 of those ballots after Election Day. That again were from properly registered voters. Their signatures matched in their voter registration record. That is out of there were 272,000 voters who got their ballot to us on Election Day or earlier. So, but for those almost 10,000 people, this is a big deal.
Elections are controlled by states, not by the federal government.
Congresswoman Suzanne Bonamici explains while Oregon's vote-by-mail system is decades old, the postmark rule here is more recent.
For a while, our ballots had to be received by Election Day. And then our state changed the rule to say they had to be postmarked by Election Day.
Right now, 14 states and D.C. allow this grace period, and 29 accept military and overseas ballots after Election Day. She worries about possible changes to this and other voting laws ahead of the midterms.
It is another voter suppression tactic that primarily the administration and congressional Republicans are trying to do.
The Republican National Committee initially filed the lawsuit to keep Mississippi's Secretary of State from counting mail-in absentee ballots after Election Day. Justices are considering whether a federal law that sets election dates can prevent ballots from being received after those dates. The court will likely issue a ruling in June or July. David.
Now, which could change everything for November. Thanks, Alma. Appreciate it. To spring break travel chaos, and there's really no other word for it, gripping some of the busiest airports across this country. ICE agents have now been deployed to more than a dozen of the busiest airports in the U.S., but so far that list does not include PDX, where security lines, it appears, remain relatively normal. Other cities like Houston and Atlanta have dealt with snaking, sometimes hour-plus lines as TSA workers go without pay and call out thanks to the partial government shutdown. So when it comes to ICE, NBC News reporting that at least 50 personnel per shift will be at each airport and will not be screening passengers, but instead monitoring entrances and exits, I imagine, to the secure area. Passengers at PDX had mixed opinions.
ICE has no place in our airports, and I do not support that.
Yeah, I wasn't thrilled about that. I was wondering when that's starting.
100%. Yeah, they're just to come and help get people through the exits and entry, and they're not there to scan us or do any of those type things. So,
And I think that's fine in busy times when people are struggling to get home and travel, and if it moves people through, then I don't see any problem with that.
President Trump said ICE agents will be sent to more airports and has also said he might even bring in the National Guard. Tonight, Portland Community College says it may have to delay its spring term as a staff strike continues. The school says it's offered the union an increased cost of living raise in its latest proposal, adding if the deal was not accepted tonight, they would consider delaying the start of the spring term. It was supposed to start a week from today to April 6 instead. So far, no word if union members will agree to the latest offer, though the union did file an unfair labor practice charge against the school. Some 2,000 staff, including instructors, walked off the job earlier this month to protest wages they say that have failed to keep up with inflation. Let's switch to a live look over the Rose City on this Monday night from our Wells Fargo Sky Camera on a dry start to a new week, though that is about to change as the rain moves back in. Celine Stevens is here with the first look at your weather impact forecast. Hey there, Celine.
Hi, David. Yeah, definitely. It's going to change in just the next few hours. But right now, taking a live look outside, 49 degrees, nice and calm so far. But again, that rain is already moving into some areas. You'll see it's already hitting areas like the Dalles, and it's hitting down south. So near Eugene, just about to touch on Salem, Newport, already seeing the rain from that frontal system that's going to be impacting our area in just a few hours. As you can see, Portland remaining dry for now. By early tomorrow morning, things are going to look a lot different. But temperatures across our map, we're seeing a lot of upper 40s, 50 degrees in Troutdale, 52 in McMinnville, and then along the coast, temperatures dipping down into the mid to upper 40s. But here's where we're going. We're going to start our day with some rain. We're looking at 7 a.m. upper 40s, rainy conditions really all day long. And the thing to also note is it'll not only be rainy, but it'll also be windy. I'm talking around 30-mile-per-hour wind gusts in the Portland area. So you'll see that rain moves in Tuesday, lasting really all day long. Moderate rainfall at times, and then we get into Wednesday. We're not done yet. We're going to have another system head into our area, leaving Wednesday looking pretty damp too. But it does eventually end. We'll talk more about it in a bit, David.
Had some sunshine at the weekend and now some time for storms. Thanks, Celine. Portland police broke up 2 street takeovers early this morning, one in the Lloyd district and another near the airport. When authorities arrived at the scene near the airport, they say everyone scattered, though in Northeast at the Lloyd district, police say roughly 50 to 100 people were blocking the intersection at 13th and Multnomah, while at least one driver was performing dangerous stunts. Once officers had enough backup, they moved in and shut down the takeover. Police gave at least 4 people tickets, seized 3 guns, and detained a driver.
A lot of the times when police move in, people scatter. If you have numerous cars leaving a scene at a high rate of speed, that's incredibly dangerous for the participants, for innocent bystanders, for community members.
Street takeovers and illegal street racing have been an ongoing challenge in the Rose City. In 2023, you may remember Oregon lawmakers gave police expanded authority to tow and seize vehicles involved in the takeovers. By the way, 2 cars were towed this morning.
Team Wild!
New at 11, a paparazzi moment and big homecoming tonight at PDX for Portland native and Olympic medalist Jackie Wiles, who's been through quite the whirlwind, we should say, since she landed a bronze on the slopes last month at the Milan Cortina Games. We're so proud of her. Catherine Cook was there along with a lot of people, and it sounds like animals, Catherine, who are ready to celebrate.
David, a llama was present. And why not? This was a Portland homecoming after all. After the Olympics, Jackie Wiles headed to Norway for the World Cup finals, where she finished 14th in the women's downhill. Now, finally, after an unforgettable season, she's home.
For Jackie Wiles, it's good to be home. An Olympic bronze medal around her neck and another chapter of her storied alpine ski career in the books.
Incredible. I think it's just fun to feel the love and support from home. I really love Portland, and being from Oregon is super special. I felt the love from everyone during the Olympics, so it's really cool to have the warm welcome as I came into PDX.
Gathered among her family and fans, a llama, of course, Dylan the Pickle, Tomahawk, and Jacqueline's dad. with a solid plan for the night.
We have pizza and beer, and we can just celebrate together.
David Wiles is proud of his daughter. He has been through everything, including 2018 when Jackie suffered a catastrophic knee injury a week before the Winter Olympics. Multiple surgeries and 18 months of rehab later, she was back at it. And then came this moment in Cortina when Jackie won bronze in the women's team combined event.
I'm happy that she's had a successful year, and it'll be nice to see her for about 3-4 weeks, but then the season starts again.
Jackie says this was her final Olympic Games, and next season will likely be her last on the World Cup circuit. And when she takes those high elevation slopes, she'll be in even more rarefied air. That of an Olympic medalist.
Being here in this moment with this medal, with all the people that were with me through it all, means even more.
It's really something to see the contrast between those two PDX homecomings. 8 years can really make a difference. Jackie says she's looking forward to rest, having her knees worked on, and enjoying all the little moments while she's home. After that, she's off to Chile to start training again for next season. David?
Oh, there's always another season and another race, but maybe she could just get a little bit of sleep first, right? Yes. Thanks, Catherine. Appreciate it.